Well, I opted to just hop on the phone while walking home. I was sore and tired today. Didn't feel like finishing my run. So, now you get the wobbly video. The goal is to see if you get car sick while sitting wherever you're sitting. Obviously, I don't have my Bible with me. I know you probably expect more of me, that I'd have my Bible on my run, but left it at home. But I was able to quickly look up what we were looking at today. And, you know, in Mark chapter 9, it begins in the section we'll be starting at, where the disciples are arguing with each other, right? They're having a disagreement, and Jesus stops and asks them, hey, what are you guys arguing about? And then they don't say anything, of course, because, well, they were having an argument over who was going to be the greatest. And so Jesus takes a little kid and grabs them. And yesterday we talked about little kids, so it's nice, it ties in. But in the end of it all, basically he says, hey, if you want to be the first, you need to be last. And he takes this little kid and says, hey, you receive this kid, you receive me. And if you receive me, you receive him who sent me. Now, I think like this. You know, I'll tell you, taking care of kids is a sanctifying procedure and process. I think as we take care of our own kids, God tries us and tests us. I think as we take care of other people's kids, it tries us and tests us even more sometimes. You know, at least with my kids, I know I'm stuck with them and I can't get rid of them. It's like, well, whatever. You're my responsibility, so I've just gotta deal with you. And then, but as far as other people's kids are concerned, you know, it's hard to have that natural grace when you're dealing with kids that aren't your own. And kids can be trying. So what is Jesus talking about? Well, I think working with children can not only be a big try of your patience, but there's also very little glory in it. You know, when you serve on the worship team, you're up front and everyone gets to see you. When you're in children's ministry, well, you're not up front of the church, and there's a lot of testing that goes on there. But I think at the end of the day, it really tests hearts. And it just makes me think of Pastor Chuck. And he always told the story of how, I mean, I even actually have the video. I have a clip of him where he's promoting a children's ministry curriculum or something like that. But, you know, when he said, someone would come to me and said, I think God has called me to the ministry. And Chuck said, well, that's awesome. Let me set you up with the second graders, and we'll find out if God has called you to ministry. And I think there's really something to that. And it doesn't mean that everyone who's called to the ministry goes through the path of children's ministry. But I would say, I think most, you know, there's something about teaching kids. I've heard it said too that if you can't teach it to a child so that a child understands it, you don't understand it well enough. Because when you really understand something, it shouldn't be high and lofty and confusing. It should be something that you're able to break down and to put into simple terms that even a child can understand. And so, in the end, you know, people are called to different places. And there's many people who aren't called to children's ministry. There's something about it that, you know, if you can handle the little kids, you can receive them and serve them and love them, knowing that there's not a lot of glory, there's not a lot of appreciation, and you're able to just faithfully serve the Lord, well, then you're receiving Him. And if you receive Him, you receive Him who sent Him. So, he says, hey, if you want to be the greatest, be the least. If you want to be the least, well, serve in children's ministry. So, just an idea, just a thought. And really just what our text was about today, was just serving the kids and receiving the little children and just having that show where your heart's at. So, all right, God bless you guys. Have a great day. It was short, but sweet. I'll see you guys around.